Well, howdy. Not muted. Y'all can't fool me. I was born at night, but it was not last night. Allegedly. What's going on? Happy Friday. We're going to play some good stuff today. Oh goodness. I've been feeling good, honestly. Past couple days of playing after Wednesday was bad, but yesterday and so far today have not been all too bad, I would say. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, probably not the healthiest to gauge your days on the degrees of badness that are there, but you know. Throw it on the pile. Add it to the list of the stuff to work on. The reframing, as it were. But anyways, let's see. So I've been warming up a little bit, past half hour or so, doing some other Carusos that I have not done yet. Interval studies. I think that's the only one. But it's a good one, and it's been some high horn stuff today, because it goes up to it's basically you start on a middle C, go up in seconds up the scale, to the top, to the C above the staff, and then you do. It's always a 3-part exercise. Are the intervals? Watch Julie Landsman's video for the actual full disclosure of warnings and instructions, but you always do it in 3 parts. The first is the interval itself. The second is a pedal tone on a low F sharp, just to sort of massage the embouchure. And then you do a chromatic scale from middle C up to the high and down to the pedal. So that's what I've been working on a little bit this morning. Little lip trills that honestly are starting to sound like actual trills, just to say. And yeah, that's kind of how we're looking. Hope y'all are having a wonderful end of your week, start to your weekend. I've got water in my horn. Quite a bit. And we're going to go for 2 hours today. No ensembles, no lessons, just y'all in chat, and me, and the horn, and we're going to do some good work today. So with that, let's start the timer. It's been a minute since we've had the timer. But it's definitely the day for it, because I want to make sure that we're getting in a good volume of practice today. Without ensembles, I got to make sure that we're doing a good, proper workout, you know what I mean? Replace the strenuousness. Is there a word for strenuousness? Like tenuousness would be, no. Tenacity is tenaciousness. Is there like a... I don't know that there is, or at least I cannot think of it at the moment. Anyways, I have bagatelle. We're going to definitely do some of that. I would like to do the tuba flexies. Tubas and maybe harps. We might just do a good bit of flexibility stuff this morning, since we've got a full 2 hours to practice. With that, I also started warming up with donkeys down low, which is something that I can kind of tell on the days that I do them and the days that I don't. It's a really fun. Actually, it's not really fun. That's why I don't do them every day. They're not fun. But the results are fun, and they don't take too long. I'm lazy about it. But it's and you're supposed to do them all in one breath, so it's 8, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you go down as low as you can. I did them down to the F sharp series. The last few taken very slowly to massage, because like doing the jumps, the fifths down when you're down in the pedal. Really needs some ironing out to make that slur more smooth. So that's in process. Anyways, that's really neither here nor there. Tuba flexibilities. Let's do it. First one is like your first pancake. If y'all have ever made pancakes, then you know the first one is a throwaway. You always throw the first one away. That's just, I don't make the rules, I just follow them. First one's throwaway. And then once you get it, then you stop throwing away. Then they get nice and golden brown and fluffy. The metaphor is falling apart. That was a weird, it was like my tongue it cut off my airstream in the back there involuntarily. That was a weird one. Yo, that's right. I forget. It is Good Friday. Happy to you as well, JL. I hope you're having a good one. Easter has not been a holiday I've celebrated all that much in the last, 20, 25 years. So it always surprises me when it actually does, when it happens. But this year, we're actually doing something. We have a family dinner. We're doing like my girlfriend's making a ham. Her mother is doing green bean casserole. I'm doing a nice big focaccia. I'm so excited. Nice bubbly little crispy focaccia, and also gratin dauphinoise as our potatoes. It's gonna be pretty dang good. If I can brag on myself, I'm feeling good about it. I haven't done it yet, so knock on wood. And the gratin dauphinoise is a new recipe to me, so I'm essentially bragging about it before I actually make a brand new recipe, which is just a recipe for disaster, honestly. So we'll see. I don't know. It's still early in the morning. I'm kind of not really. Brain hasn't really woken up yet. Woefully undercaffeinated. But that's just kind of life these days. Anyways. And I will tell you, today the goal, as much as it is to always play low and play a lot low and work on the low register, for the first time in a minute, I kind of feel like doing some high stuff as well. Just because I don't get the high playing normally when I have ensembles, right? I play principal, and that gives me all the high playing, work that I need to do for the day. On a day like today, when I'm just in practice mode, I definitely need to make sure that we're working the upper register enough, and not just sitting down low. Because I could sit down low and beat my face up literally all day. I kind of did that on Wednesday. Wednesday night I practiced mostly low from like 3:30 to 7-ish. And like there were points where I was going for, because I have YouTube videos going on in the background usually while I'm practicing. And there's like 38-minute video that just went front to back, and I didn't realize that I had not taken a break in that amount of, you know what I mean? So it was like, it's like heavy playing. And when you're down low, you can do that because it doesn't, like, playing up high is a lot more strenuous, dangerous, fatiguing, perhaps. Whereas down low, you just kind of, as long as you got the air for it and you can go, then, you kind of just like, just send it. It's a lot easier to go for 20 minutes than it is to go. Even just that 2 octaves. Can we focus? Foreground, background, background. What is even being focused upon? What is wrong with this camera? Are you serious? Hello. Stupid freaking technology. Anyways, whole point of it is I'm going to try and consciously play a little bit higher today than I normally do, because normally I just do the low stuff. Dude, camera. I'm losing my mind. I literally just wiggle my butt in my chair and it loses focus. Sounds like my girlfriend. Anyways. Oh, that was funny. Man, doing all that in one breath is not easy. And especially because the upper octaves, they're not usually what I hit when I do my harmonic series exercises. So they're a little bit less stable than the da 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 da, because I usually just go at the da 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 up to a C above the staff. But so doing the upper octave, and especially the descending octave, I find to be particularly difficult. So I'm trying to slow them down, make sure that they're hitting. Anyways. Excuse me. It's just, yeah. I'll probably do it in 2 breaths just because, there's no reason to try and flex. Yeah. That was better. Whew. And now it's for the C series. Okay. After this one, we're definitely switching to something a little bit lower. Video's blurry. Video is doing some crazy stuff. I don't know if it's the camera on occasion, if it's losing focus, if it's looks like my internet should be okay, so the quality I'm hoping is all right. I'm hoping it's just a weirdness with the camera, like it just does that sometimes. So hopefully it's resolved, because I've got it. If I do it on like automatic adjust the resolution, it does this shit. But then if I do it on like just set the resolution at this and just stay here, it also doesn't really work. It's yeah, it kind of needs the automatic adjustment, but it also sucks at it. So I don't know what to do with it. It's supposed to be a good camera. It was like $150, $200 a couple years ago. I don't know. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yikes. Not the smoothest. Appreciate you, my friend. Happy Easter to you as well. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Have a fun time with the Easter eggs if you do the egg hunts. I haven't done an egg hunt. Holy moly. I honestly don't remember the last time I did an egg hunt. Must have been when I was in grade school, but I don't remember. Anyways, hope you have a good one, my friend. It's great to see you. Cool. So that feels like as much flexibility. Why can't I hold all this music, my guy? I don't know who I'm even talking to. Just the royal my guy, the royal my guy is in chat, It is neither gendered nor numbered. Like, it is both singular, plural, and it is inclusive of all. My guys in chat is like as inclusive of a term as could exist. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyways, Neuling's Bagatelle. I started to work on this piece towards the end, or this riff towards the end. That is, it's really fun, but it's really hard because it's octave jumps. I feel like that's lower than it. It is not honestly that low. Like Now you are supposed to accelerando through that as well. Yeah, that did not happen. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. Okay. The worst thing about doing pieces with chromatics like this, like it's just having to use the third valve. It's annoying for two reasons, one of which is normal, one of which is not. The first is because water tends to accumulate. It's the lowest point on the horn. There's all these big loops, and water, it gets stuck here, and you have to take them out and dump them, turn them, dump them to make sure it's all out. That's the normal reason. The abnormal reason is because the rotor stops. And I don't know if y'all can really see this, but there's these little black rubber bits that look like a T right here. The rotor, they're rotor pads, right? They stop the rotors. And the one on my third here is basically disintegrating. So it's got like, you can see the metal casing starting to become exposed. And if I hit it down really, really hard, I can hear it click, and you really don't want that. So I'm trying to be very careful with my third valve usage to varying degrees of success. Anyways, so it just sucks to have to switch between, you know, third fingerings. It's why, like, for Beethoven's the horn trio in Beethoven 3, I usually do it on the B flat side, which is da 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 da, and it's just back between these first, third, and open, and so you know, pretty fast it tends to slam it down. So I don't play that right now. Anyways, that's really neither here nor there. I'm just kind of giving my face a break. Oh, that's bagatelle, you guys. That is Norling's bagatelle. Sort of, you know, a part of it. But, like, it's got the range. It's got, like, the notes exist. There's some stylistic there. I don't know, that feels pretty good. Working throughout the registers. There's a 2-octave skip from you know? Yo, what's up, Beast? Good to see you, my friend. Apologies, I had a burp. Good to see ya. How's it going? Happy Friday. Hope you're having a good end of your week. We're working on, this is a piece called Bagatelle by Hermann Neuling. It's a very notorious low horn piece. And for good reason. This shit's impossible. Because you got to lean into that A. Not a euphemism. The written note is an A pedal. Not leaning into that ass. You know, it's a, I don't know. Dang. That's kind of most of Bagatelle now that I think about it. A couple of spots I need to listen to and actually figure out, get it in my ear, because right now I'm kind of just like, and it's not really in my ear or anything. I'm not reading it right, and it's not in my ear, so I can usually do with one or the other. But having it in my ear helps me to read it right. Who knew? But that's okay. That's kind of most of the piece. And this is the problem that I run into when I'm having a fun time playing just through a piece. It's hard for me to go back and actually fix things that I know are like need the fixing. That I know are like need the fixing. Good thing this is French horn practice and not English practice. Holy cow. But so knowing that that is a problem that I have, let's fix that. Let's do better. So for example, I need to be able to play that much louder, that G. Like it's sort of, it's hitting, but it's supposed to crescendo is the problem. It's supposed to be articulate and getting louder as it goes down to the G. Which might be impossible, perhaps. It's weird. I feel like I'm Emdor. I appreciate you hanging out, my friend. Good to see you. Enjoy the lurk. It's weird because I feel like that that those low notes are big and, you know, fat, right? Fat bottom notes, fat bottom low notes. We're making it a Queen song. You make the bagatelle world go round or something. But like they're just not as loud as I want them to be. It's like too much upper lip and then dropping my jaw too soon to make the aperture too large and unfocus the I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know about that. I might have to ask my professor about how to make that really happen. And what is it that I'm doing wrong? Because I'm not sure I can quite diagnose it. And that's the thing, as well, as I give my face a slight break before moving back to the second half of this piece, because it's just more fun, or at least moving on. But the thing that I'm trying to teach myself the most, right, is the diagnosis. Whenever I am playing this bit and it's like, oh, why are these low notes not being as loud and as supported as I want? Could it be air? It very well could be that I think I'm using the air correctly, though. Like I feel like the support and the breaths behind those notes are good enough. So that's one thing on the checklist, right? If that's not it, what's the other thing? Aperture too big. Maybe, but like I kind of don't think so. It seems to be, I don't know, not necessarily. Or maybe it is. But figuring out like the different ways to like, okay, try it this way, practice it this way, do it this time, but could you do, whatever. And those like diagnostic repair tests, right, are kind of the things I'm trying to really pick up for myself more than, not more than anything else, but the same as anything else, I suppose. My vowels are slightly slow as well. That's hard. That is really hard. And not just to hit the notes, which is bad enough. But during the it's accented, articulated, staccatoed, and towards the end, accelerandoed. I think crescendos, or maybe it's just marked fortissimo at rehearsal 9, but wow, that's a crazy piece. This is a fun piece, though. I should do these few bars with a click because it goes between triple and duple and I'm not getting them correct. But what is the tempo? Ba bum ba da da dum ba ba. That seems a little slow. Ba bum ba da da dum ba ba bum. Ba 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 da da dum. Ba bum ba da ba dum bum ba dum. Ba 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 bum. Ba bum bum ba da ba bum 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 ba. Yeah, that seems right. Da 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 da. Yep. So I need to think as the quarter note after the triplets. So I need to count that quarter note in 1 e and a 2 e and a da 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 ba ba ba. That's what I need to do. Is I need to think. And since I'm saying it, why don't I write it down so that I don't have to remember it? Man, that would be smart. If only there was a method for putting my thoughts down permanently into a place where I can see it where I'm playing this and I don't have to actively think about it. If only such a thing existed. All right, so it's going to be 3 e and 4 e and so count it this way. Okay. 1, 2. Da 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 3 and 1 and da 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 da. I feel like I'm still not doing that right. What ba da 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 1 and da 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 da. Ba 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 da 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 da. 1, 2. I think I'm holding it for like 2 beats and then doing the e and as opposed to 1 and then doing e and triple it, 1 e and 2 e and da. Triple it, triple it, 1 e and 2 da 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 ba ba. Yeah. Da ba 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 da ba da ba ba. Yep. Okay, I've got it now. And this is why I like to hear things as opposed to reading, although I know the reading is ultimately going to make me a better reader, but just for the sake of doing it faster and like I'd prefer to listen to it, be like, oh, that's how it goes, and recreate. But I know that's ultimately a crutch. 1, 2, triple it. I think that was too long again. Yes. Yes, that was it. Nope, I was holding it too long again. I did not think 3 and a. That's it. That's it. Oh my goodness, my nose itches. Oh, I hope I don't have to sneeze. Ah! I swear, springtime, don't at me, best time of the year. Coming out of wintertime, everything's starting to grow again. The greens are vibrant, the flowers are in bloom, the bees are all over the place. Stupendous. Absolutely spectacular, breathtaking season. The pollen and my allergies make me want to punch my own ticket. It is miserable. Oh my goodness, it itches so bad. I don't want to like dig in my nose because that would be disgusting. But like, I kind of want to. Anyways. All right, let's get this. That's a really weird. That's a really weird run up because it's D sharp E F natural. D sharp E F natural. It's just chromatic. And I think that it should be an F sharp in there or a G sharp to continue the pattern that was established previously. And I'm trying to make it as a bigger interval than it is. Felicia, good to see you, my friend. How do you figure out phrasing? I always have issues figuring out the starts and ends of a phrase. Man, if only I knew. Honestly, because that was actually my most recent lesson on Wednesday. My professor has told me, and I forget exactly which piece I was playing, but my phrasing was very vertical. And instead, I should have a more horizontal phrase, more spread. Like I was doing like this when I need to do like this. So I'm still kind of working on it. I don't really know. That's because that's the kind of thing that I don't know, and I don't really know how to practice. Like I don't know. I'm not sure, but I feel like sometimes it's kind of just like take a guess, and if it's not right, then someone will tell you. Sort of like for example, Mozart is good for this, I think, for phrasing studies. My teacher said the same thing about horizontal and vertical, and this is the first that I've heard about it, so I'm like, I have no idea what that even means. I'm still trying to like parse what the actual words they're using mean. But so for example, Mozart's Concerto Number 1. It starts out like this. So you can do it a couple different ways. You can have a phrase. That can be a phrase. You can extend it to. And so making that be your phrase, right? That's the entire first thing. We're going to call that a phrase. Where is it we want to peak? Where do we want to back off at the end? Do we want to crescendo at the end? Do we want to, is there any contour right? Upward or downward motion throughout the phrase that we want to do. So like for me, I would do this one. I would kind of just follow the natural contour of the line. So it's like ba da 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 ba da 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 da. And then on any, you've got tension there because it doesn't resolve on beat 1. Mozart's great for this. Lean into the, but then it's making sure that that is not the end of your phrase. That's halfway through the phrase. Building up to the end, finish strong. So, it's kind of what I have done, and I have take this with all the grains of salt in the ocean, right? Is like that's the phrase, and then you kind of, I don't know, you just work throughout it and see like what sounds good. Listening to someone play it, absolutely. The thing that gets me when I listen to someone play is that then when I play, it's like I hear what they have played and I'm not actively listening to what's coming out of my horn. I'm not hearing my phrasing. I'm hearing their phrasing while I'm doing I'm hitting the notes. So it's there's layers to it for sure. And it all comes down to you gotta make sure that you got good air to seamlessly be able to navigate the entire phrase, right? Or, break it up and make sure that, for example, here, when you breathe halfway through the phrase, you want to have it to not, unless it's written that way. And that's the other thing is like music is dictated by what's on the page. Ultimately, the composer's intent, kind of just trying to make it not like jarring, coming in a little louder here because it's higher, or like a little lower here because it's soft, or softer here because it's lower, whatever. Making sure that the different registers, when they're part of the phrase, the lower stuff is loud enough to, and the higher stuff isn't so loud that it overpowers. It's balancing I don't know. There's a lot that goes into phrasing, I'm sure. If anyone else wants to chime in because I don't know what I'm talking about, please feel free. Henry, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a good Friday. We made it to the weekend, sailor, arg, and stuff. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I'm... Mr. Krabs meme. Congratulations, sailor, you made it to Friday. So that's fun. Anyways, it's neither here nor there. Let's get rid of Neuling for a second. Here's a good bit of phrase study. Mahler 1, the third movement, horn excerpt. It's you have to have the phrase, you have to do it in one breath, and you have to have it be as smooth as is humanly possible. Or at least 4 bars in one breath, and then 2 bars, 1 or 2, because it's a slur down to octaves, down to the pedal. Very difficult. So for this phrase, for example, that low is really is sticky, but like that's a phrase that's completely different because it's not supposed to have contour, right? It's supposed to just be continuous. It's just smooth underlying, just driving forward. Because especially for this part, you've got I think it's focus camera. It's like, I think clarinets and maybe oboes doing a little they're doing like all kinds of flourish on top of the steady pulse of the Frere Jacques, the Bruder Martin, as it were. Just completely different depending on what piece is in front of you, right? I guess Mozart's really good for phrasing. The Mozart Clarinet Concerto Adagio movement is also great to practice phrasing, and it really helped me a lot. Which movement is that? I'm familiar with, I think it's the concerto in A, right? In the first movement, I think, if it's what I'm thinking of, I've listened to a lot. I don't know if I'm familiar with the others, but you're very right. Mozart is great, and especially like Mozart operas, right? If you listen to any operas, really, listen to good singers. Good opera singers have impeccable phrasing, and you really want to when the music calls for it. If you can emulate how a singer does their phrasing and their contours, like you're in a good spot. That's kind of how I was, listen to opera, which is great. Second movement, gotcha. So yeah, I should listen to that. As much as I've listened to the first movement, I'm a little surprised that I've never actually listened to the second or presumably third. Although not all of them have three movements. The Mozart Concerto number 1 for horn, funny enough, was actually the last completed one that he wrote, and it's only got 2 movements, whereas the others have 3. Something inevitably got lost in translation or to time. Just like the Concert Rondo, which is not even a completed piece, so that's fun. And that wasn't phrased well. I noticed that as soon as I played it. So now let me try to think of how I would phrase that more musically. I was about to say more good, more better. Just do it well, Why didn't I think of that? It's so simple. Simple, not easy. Those two are not equivalent. That's a little bit better. It's, introducing the minor theme. So that's the, second movement of Mozart's first torn concerto, just as a little, I don't know, it's a fun little piece. It's not coming up or anything, just thought it would be a good one. And it is a good one. It's, again, simple, but not easy. Because you still have to play it correctly. And it is Mozart. There kind of is a correct to Mozart. There is definitely incorrect to Mozart. Depending on who you ask, there is also a correct. I am one where I think there is a correct way to do Mozart. Let's see. Strauss, Nocturno, Hunter's Moon, Haydn Sonata, Haydn Concerto, the other Haydn, of course. There's, what even all do I have? Monoceros. I haven't done that in a minute. Strauss 2, yeah, right. And Tchaikovsky. I always get those partials mixed up. Yo, you're doing this for youth orchestra? Are you serious? I fucking love Tchaik 4! Oh, it's so good. One of my absolute favorite starts to a symphony maybe ever. Like, that brass line at the beginning, goosebumps every time. Oh, I love Tchaikovsky. Oh, I love Tchaikovsky, and especially 4 and 5. Those are some absolutely phenomenal pieces. Didn't I say we were going to try and play some high stuff today? Why don't we do some Franz Strauss? No, that's stupid. I should not do that. We should do the stuff that we actually need to do first. Eat your vegetables first, and then you can have candy and cakes for dessert. Where is Strauss 1? Where is the real Strauss? Will the real Slim Strauss please stand up? It is Ricard, and it is first concerto. Got to make sure it's performance ready because this is going to be performed. 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 Not PRE. Anyways. Preformed is a whole different word entirely. Anyways, okay. Strauss 1. Hold on, my girlfriend texted me. Bum, ba-ba-da-bum, bum. All right. It's a good intro. Ba-ba-dum, bum. That B flat is so flat. Those B flats are not. That ain't it today. Which is unfortunate. Do I have my tuner? I sure do. Let's see just how out of tune that note is. That F is in tune. Roughly. It was there and then went flat, I think. Do you prefer standing or sitting when playing? That's a great question. For the longest time, I've only played sitting. I think for a long time I played with my horn bell on my knee or on my leg, so kind of like was required to sit to have support for it because it's different when you play it off the leg. But I've been in the habit of playing off the leg. So sitting or standing is sort of interchangeable. For a longer practice session, I'm generally going to be sitting for most of it. But for my afternoon practices later in the day, because I'm usually at my girlfriend's house, so I'll be, like, for example, yesterday I was actually baking a loaf of bread while practicing, and so the stand mixer was going, and it's been it's kneading the dough, right, and I'm just standing off to the side and noodling as I do, and then I have to put it in the proofing box, and then I go back to playing, and I'll stand around there, and just so that because I want to make sure that just in case if ever there was an audition or something where I had to go and perform and play, I have a similar technique when standing as I do sitting. So I do try and stand and play at least a little every day. Always play so much better when I stand. Is that true? I know my standing is much worse. I think my air is better, but I'm less coordinated, I feel. Since when have you been playing? If you're asking today about this long, in total, I have 6th grade through freshman year of college of experience, plus about a year total. So 8 years total, 1 year in the last 15 years, if that makes sense. I think that's about where we're at. 8-ish years in total, and it's there was 15 years in between some of those. I think it's the airflow for me. I could definitely see that, because if I'm lazy and I'm sitting back in my chair and I'm just kind of we're doing, it's not ideal. But if you stand, if you make sure that your feet are planted, you got the nice column, from heels to crown, pulling up a string through your, that definitely, I could totally see it. I could totally see it. Now I just need to get in that level of competence when standing, because apparently, and I don't want to say I will never audition in Europe, but the chances that I will ever audition in Europe are so infinitesimally small. But apparently, if you ask for a chair in Europe when you audition, you kind of get laughed off the stage. So that's something I don't want to have happen. If ever, again, that will never happen, probably. Knock on wood just in case, but so you really got to be able to. Let's finish off Strauss 1 and move on to something fun. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Oh my God, why did I took a breath and pulled the horn off my face. And that did, oh Jesus. That was going really well too. man. Always a workout. And still, a complete run through of it is not, I don't think I've gotten a full, complete performance run through of this yet, which is not great when I've got juries and performances of this piece in this month. Literally this month. Holy shit. And I don't know exactly when it is. Speaking of this month, the local orchestra still has not posted their audition list for this year, for their sub list. I am disappointed. Should be kind of any day now. I would think they'd post their auditions with like a month of notice. Last year it was May 10th or so. So hopefully in the next week, maybe we might get the audition rep list. And then it's time to I mean, it's always time to really put in the work, but like really buckle down. And you know what? Is there anything in this that I want to run back through again? I think the development was better today than it normally has been. The second half of the solo, and because I've been trying to make sure to keep the tempo going. I think I had been in a bad habit of slowing it down pretty substantially, especially just coming out of it. Because what I want to do. You know, do a little rubato, like a da 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 da. But it turns out trying to do that ends up just fucking me up for the rest of the thing. So less of that and more just bum bum ba da ba ba da ba da ba da ba 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 da 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 da. You know, keeping it in time, and then once I have it well in time, then we can talk about fluctuating a little bit. Yo, Suki! What's going on, my friend? It's been a minute. How are ya? Good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. Happy weekend. Friday weekend, you know. For whatever. Hope you got something fun going on. We're just working out a little Strauss before moving on to maybe some other Strauss. Let's see. Doing well. Made it to Friday, dude. Boy, howdy did we. I know that. I am, dude, because I got a lot of plans for this weekend, and they almost all include the renovation. So, yes, we've got, we finally had the electrical guys come out and do what they needed to do. So now the next steps are we have to go finish up the drywall in the kitchen. Now that there's no more electrical work to be done. So we got to put up the drywall, mud it, prime it, sand it, paint it, have everything painted and done. in there. Once the drywall is done, the paint is done, we're going to do. We're thinking about. I don't even know if I've mentioned this on stream, but we're kind of leaning towards building our own cabinets, as opposed to just buying unfinished cabinets and painting them from like Home Depot or whatever. We've been watching some videos and feel decently good about just being able to build wooden boxes, right? Obviously, it's not quite just wooden boxes, but we've got some ideas. So that's this weekend for us is drywall, mudding, sanding, maybe some paint, and yeah. So a lot of work. Yes, it is. Is it that expensive to just outsourcing the entire shebang? I've kind of been going back and forth on that. And like the electrical stuff, exterior doors, I'm not messing with those, right? Like there's way too much that can go wrong, especially electrical. I am not qualified. I have a healthy enough fear of electricity that I'm not getting involved with that. I'll call in a professional for electrical. Plumbing, I can kind of, like, I've changed out a toilet, installed a vanity. I can do basic plumbing stuff with YouTube. But like electrical, I'm not going to do. Exterior doors, I'm not going to do. Floors, I can kind of do. The problem is the labor part is the most expensive part. Like, you can get all the materials to do whatever you want to, but then having someone come out and do it is like half of, if not 2/3 of, the entire cost of the project. So it's we're trying to like save money where we can, which ends up being how much of it can we do ourselves. So like for the door guy, it actually came out to be a little bit over what I thought it was going to be for just the exterior doors and not the interiors. But I'm able to justify that, that's a little bit more there. But if we do the cabinets and we build them ourselves, it's going to be a fraction of what I had budgeted out before. So it's kind of, I don't know. We'll see. It would be way more expensive to outsource most of it, and especially because we want to do the entire house eventually. That's the other thing, is we're doing like the kitchen and the bathroom will be the next thing, and those are first priorities because they're not in great shape. So, but we want to have the supplies on hand to be able to do this room, the floors and the paint, and there's popcorn on the ceiling, which is awful. And to be able to do the rest of the house once we eventually get to it. So it's like, yeah, we're figuring it out. And it's the first time, that I have done a home renovation. It's the first time my girlfriend's, actually it's not. She renovated her house when she bought it a couple of years back as well. But she had her dad to help doing like tile flooring, like big, fairly large tiles like throughout the house, which look really well. But we're not doing like tiles. We're not cutting, laying tiles. We're doing the easy like vinyl plank, whatever. Vinyl tile maybe. Yes, it is a lot of trips to Home Depot. There's a Lowe's that's closer actually, but yes, and we redid the because there's not a master bath, full bath that's like here in the hall, and then off the master there's a half a bath, which is kind of weird. But so we redid the half a bath last year, and there were we were making 3 trips in one day because we got the floors, and oh my god, all of a sudden now there's a facade on the wall, so that fits in too far, so we had to go back and get some railing to fit there so the wall can go. And then oh my god, we didn't get the trim pieces, we didn't get the transition stuff, our paint was it's just so it's, if there's one thing that I hate more than anything, it's just trips to the hardware store. I hate having to make multiple trips to the hardware store because it just kills all your momentum. You're going, you're doing stuff, it's like, oh shit, I don't have this one drill bit. Or like the worst one. We were in Lowe's looking for a drill bit to put flange for the toilet into the concrete foundation, right? and we're looking for, you know, these types of whatever. And some dude who's there, he's like, oh, y'all are looking for this 1/4 inch, right? Boom, here you go. And it's like, okay, cool. So we just grabbed it and like, what? Turns out it's a drill bit for 1/4 or 1/4 inch or whatever, which is like 3/8 or 5 or whatever it was, just completely wrong. This unsolicited advice from an asshole who happened to be eavesdropping on our conversation caused us to have to make an extra trip because asshole couldn't keep his nose out of our conversation. That's what burns me up more than anything. Now, granted, we made the mistake in not checking the hardware before we did it, but like, we don't know better. We would have figured out the right thing eventually, but a stranger offering us, hey, here's the answer, we're going to take that. So anyways, before I go off on a rant here, oh, geez. So I've been through 2 home renovations, and the number one money saver I feel is just having one guy do all the things. Like anything that you cannot do, just hire out one singular. Oh, so like a handyman. You know, you could be onto something there. I have a buddy. I say he's a buddy. He's my pest control guy actually, but he's a really cool dude. He comes over, you know, to spray, and we'll just like talk, and he'll hang out for a little bit after he's done spraying. Don't tell anyone. But he was saying he was offering to help do cabinets as well, because he actually did some in his own kitchen just recently, and they look pretty good. He just got some like 1xs, you know, whatever, put a little thing up there, stained it, and they look really, you know, really good. So I might. And he knows, he's like handy. He has relevant work experience, I think, in stuff like this. So he knows what he's talking about, and I trust that he knows what he's talking about. Whereas I would not. Anyways, happened once as well. Our painter mixed up primer and paint. Some weird ratio, looked decent the first 24 hours, and after that started falling off. Oh, it was like melting down, or like, because we had a couple spots in the kitchen where in the corners it was like an interior corner, and it would just like sag, like, oh, and so we just pulled it out, and it turns out they didn't even when they did the drywall, they didn't put like tape in the corners, so it's literally just like painted out corners. There's one right here. I could literally show you. These assholes who did this stuff before, there's just I don't know if you can see it super well down there. There's a crack in the paint just in the corner there because they didn't put any sort of joints, any tape in the joints in the corners when they did the drywall. It's like they had no idea what they were doing. Granted, neither do we, but we're trying to do it right. You know? Just having one dude doing the work is much, much better than having 4 different. And I hear you. I hear you. The only thing with that, my girlfriend's mom actually knows a handyman that we tried to get out here to do some stuff, but he's like booked up until 6 months in the future. Like, I just can't get like that guy that we know. And then otherwise, I would just have to find someone, But yeah, no, that's a great idea. Definitely gonna have to think about that. We're gonna get back to playing some stuff. Let's do Nocturno. I feel like it's been a minute since we've done Nocturno. Little Franz Strauss, little lyrical bit. And because it is in A flat major, B-E-A-D is A flat, yes. Definitely want to make sure the water's out of the valves because we're using a lot of valves. Okay. not slow. They just needed to be like punched a little bit. Another tip is just to have a one-size-fits-all measurement. Like some carpenters use extremely wonky sizes on hinges, and it just ends up costing so much more trying to buy the products when fixing it. One-size-fits-all measurement. So you're saying like hinges. So for when we do our cabinets and things, all the hardware is going to be the exact same. All of the interior doors are one that we're going to try and do ourselves as well to save some money on labor costs. We would do all the hinges and like door hardware the same, and a lot of it is going to be reused like throughout. Like the we've got paint shades that are going to be used throughout. I think we've got some flooring that's going to be. So a lot of it we are trying to do. Maybe not one size fits all, but like just reusable stuff maybe. That we can repurpose for another part of the house. All right. Excuse me. Oh my God! I'm so bad. Every single thing is such a cent saver down the line. I believe that. I believe this. It makes sense. So we actually used leftover wood from renovations to make new cabinets, and used the guts from a sofa to make a brand new chair set. Dude, that's really freaking cool. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. Not necessarily like we would do cabinets for sure. But then I was thinking about maybe if we have some leftover stuff, doing some like shelving in some closets or some built-in something, like some kind of storage or whatever. So I'm picking up what you're putting down, my friend. You got the know-how and the elbow grease. It's good shit, man. Rest. Let's see. Shifting from places regularly makes you a lot of carpenter friends. No kidding. No kidding. I wish I had carpenter friends. Only drawback is I cannot actively work because I'm only 17 and labor laws prevent it. What? It's a whole goo-goo thing. A goo-goo thing. I mean, I get that. You know, I did not realize you were 17. Now, here I was thinking you're like, you know, about my age, renovating your houses as well. But enjoy your childhood. You know, you'll be working for a long ass time. Enjoy the times that you don't have to work. I know that you want to get out there and start, but once you pop, the fun don't stop, right? It's Pringles. I would do so many unholy things to be back to 17 years old without a job, without responsibilities, whole life in front of you. Yeah, enjoy it. That's all. Just don't squander your youth trying to be an adult. That's all. It'll happen. You'll get there. Gross. Yo, Froggo! What's up, dude? Sorry, I missed 15 years and you sound like this. Hey, I appreciate that. So it's 15 years, but we started playing last November, December, so we've got a few months under our belt now. But Before that, it was a little bit in 2019, and before that, it was 2011 was when I stopped. So there's been like a year total between 2011 and now. Is the longer story behind it. But good to see you. Hope you're having a good Friday. Catch you later. Pretty late into the night here in India. Happy Friday, and to you as well, Suki. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you later. Still like 15, Ed. You're absolutely right. You're not wrong. But so, you know, part of it is I've got a teacher now who's been helping me a lot, and I've been doing part of it has been, is that something on the wall? What is that? Oh, that's the chat window. I'm looking here and I'm like, what is this on my wall? Sorry, ADHD brain is kicking in. But I've been putting in work too. Specifically for the last 2-3 weeks, especially, I've been starting my day at about 7 o'clock, doing my first warm-ups and starting ready for the day, ending about 8:15, 8:30. Then I've got the 11 to 2 slot, and then we've got our third practice from about 3:30 until my girlfriend gets home from work. So we're we've been putting in the hours, that's for dang sure. And this honestly, this Nocturno was about as rough as I've played that in a while. That was kind of gross, if I'm being honest. Let's maybe do some cling etudes, I think. I want to look at one. Maybe like a lyrical one. 20. It's not really lyrical, but it is smooth. Maybe we can do some work on this. Yeah, I don't remember this one. Never mind, we're not going to do this one. I'm a junior high player, so that kind of playing would be great for me. Yes, absolutely. And honestly, if you really want to like improve and basically put some supreme boosted gasoline in your engine. I don't know much about cars, but try getting up a little bit earlier in the morning and running through a warm-up routine. Sincerely, that alone, I think might, if you have the time and the opportunity, doing it, and especially early in the morning, really sets up the rest of your day really well. If it's possible, that would be the probably first bit of advice that I would say, because that has absolutely turned my playing around. In addition to, you know, the additional increased practice time as well. So there's a lot of variables going on at once, but I think being able to start early in the morning, and then for this practice, I'm already coming in basically warm, refreshed, and I've done my exercises for the day. I can focus on the excerpts that I'm working on, focus on the etudes, focus on the solo pieces, you know, on the Wind Symphony, any music that I need to practice for that. So it really, it just really sets you up. So I don't know any more lyrical cling etudes, as it turns out, and I don't really want to learn one in the last 15 minutes of practice. So let's try number 39. I did say we wanted to do some high stuff today. Yeah. Got any tips for getting cleaner lower register? Oh, buddy, do I? Because I have been that's been my weakest register, going back 15 years, 20 years, whatever. My low register has been awful historically. I've only recently just kind of got it to where it's reliable. You got to play down low a lot. For me, it was, I have this book, not this. This is a good one to get. 40 characteristic etudes for horns. The Kling etudes, very good. That's not exactly it. The book is this one. Come on. Aptly named Mastering the Horns Low Register. Randy C. Gardner is the author, and he's got, so the first half of the book focuses on your air support, hugely important. Your embouchure, because the setup down low is a little funky, right? So getting those things out of the way, miscellaneous technique stuff also, but then half of it is also just low horn excerpts. Here's the table of contents, right? Air, embouchure, misc, and then excerpts. For all of these, it's got historical and explanations of the overarching symphony or opera or whatever it is. Technically, how do you practice this sort of thing? It's an absolutely beautiful book, and I cannot recommend it enough. But also just playing a lot in the low register is what really helped me. I've spent so much time and energy and effort down low. And for me, my big folly was that when I tried to go low, I dropped my jaw at about a pedal C. I was dropping my jaw, which makes your aperture, the space you're buzzing in, right, way too large. It really doesn't have to be that large until you get down to, depending on your face, right? In general, you don't have to drop the jaw until lower than that. So what I've had to do specifically was build my range keeping my jaw in its place to secure that mid-low register. And then once I got decently secure getting the C and a mezzo comfy, as my teacher says, extending it downwards a little bit. So now I can do a... And I don't have to shift, and you can see my corners really coming down, my jaw shifting around the A flat G range. And that's really where it should be for me, for my face. This is how my face works, right? You might be a little bit different. You might have a different note at which that happens, but the thing that helped my low register playing the most, I think, was one, air. Make sure you're taking a good deep breath in and support from your abs, lower back, stretch it out, make sure you're taking a full deep breath. And not making your embouchure and your aperture too large down low. If you think about it, that's all it is. Whoa. Right? That's a C. It's not that big, right? You have to, and it's corners, it's all these muscles in your face, it's a flat chin, it's all of those things that you know. But for me, the biggest thing was not exploding my embouchure way too big whenever I got down low, if that makes sense. There's also, if you're doing, I started on trumpet in 5th grade and switched the next year, so I doubt I'm any good at low brass. Dude, you're learning. You're learning. You don't have to be good. You just gotta, put in the time and the effort and the work. You can be good. I am 100%. If you go back and look at like some of my earlier streams, earlier practices, my low range was awful, god awful, 100%. I could not play low. I kind of can now, but even still, it's a struggle for me. Like I have to, you just got to learn how to do it. The technique is the technique. So in general, if you're as you're going down lower, once you get, so the middle low is different from the low low. Middle low is, you know, firm corners, right? You don't want to have anything, you don't want to like, between C and C, you don't want to like flop your chops is the term I like. There may be some movement outside, but that's because as you go down, another thing that has helped me is visualizing that I'm going from about pedal C down, I'm making an ooh. I'm just going ooh. Ooh, and then this buzzes in here, but all I'm doing is singing an ooh through the horn. And you know, it's an ooh that is that's how my face makes those tones work a little bit. As well, if you're playing on horn, look up Julie Landsman on YouTube. She has a video series on those slur arpeggios going down through like pedal C. I do tend to drop my jaw. So, and you're going to have to drop your jaw at some point, right? For you, it's going to be different from where I have to do it, which is different from where my teacher does it, which is different from my section in the Wind Symphony has to do it. You know, everyone's face structure, lips, tongue, teeth, everything is completely different. So you're going to have to experiment and find what works for you. For me, what I and again, before I lose the thought, Julie Landsman on YouTube, Julie fucking Landsman, by the way, principal horn for the Metropolitan Opera in New York for like 25 years, an absolute monstrous titan of horn playing. She teaches or has taught. She might still be teaching at Juilliard, right? The Caruso method. Look up Caruso studies and do those every single day. When I start my warm-ups at 7 in the morning, I do 3 different Caruso exercises. 6 notes, note bending, which is lips, mouthpiece, horn, but it's sort of adapted. And then there's a low register bit. And actually, since we've got about 8 minutes in practice, I will demonstrate because it's also a very good warm down. So the low register specific ones, it starts on a middle G and just goes down chromatically to the bottom of the horn. And what's interesting, what's good about Caruso exercises is that you never take your mouthpiece off the mouth. You breathe through your nose. You kind of keep your embouchure set where it is. Breathing, you have to breathe through your nose because you can't breathe through your mouth, right? So, and you keep it that way all the way down. All the way down. And so it really forces you to iron out wherever there's a break in your embouchure in the register. You have to adapt. You just keep it there. So try it and make sure you watch Julie's Miss Landsman. I don't know. Watch her videos to really get the rules and techniques for it right, because the Carusos, I would say, in addition to the actual instruction from my professor, but the Carusos gave me, I don't want to say like an embouchure of steel because I'm working on it, right? But it's a muscle, it's an exercise, it's not music. It's like running bleachers, right? If you're a basketball player, you run bleachers, you're not doing that because you have to run bleachers in a game. You're doing that because those skills translate to the basketball game. And that's what the Caruso exercises do. It forces your embouchure to work efficiently and effectively such that when you start to play real music, the skills translate over, if that makes sense. So it's a gym exercise, not a music exercise. So all that to say, the first one that I do is it's chromatics down. It just chromatically goes down to the bottom of the horn. The other one is an arpeggio study. So it's, well, we'll start with chromatics down. It goes something like this. 2, 3. If I can actually do it right. I've been talking too much. All the way to the bottom of the horn. So that's the D flat down low, and a couple of things just while I'm thinking about them. The B flat around there, you'll notice that's where I had some trouble from my high set to my low set, which if you're not familiar, the Randy Gardner book talks about settings a lot. Again, highly recommended. So that's my personal like break range. So I'm still ironing out. That's why I do these exercises. Goose, I love you, my friend. It is the goose. Good to see you. Sorry, I didn't. I don't mean to ignore you. And then also, as you go down low, you may notice that you have to take a breath in between certain notes because there's a lot of air that you have to use to make those notes sound really good. So I take a breath on the last 2 or 3 series in between some of the notes. And one thing as well, before I go to the last one, which is chromatics down, when you in a Caruso exercise, one of the things you can do, and I don't because I'm a little bit more advanced and I have my embouchure basically set. But if you're developing your embouchure, it can be useful to, as your mouthpiece stays on your mouth while resting, is to keep your embouchure as if you were playing. So if we were to do, it would look something like that. And keeping it firm, right? Firmly engaged in the rests. Whereas for me, I keep the positioning, but I don't firmly like hold my embouchure as if I'm playing. But if you're trying to establish an embouchure and really, lock it in, definitely consider something like that. We made practice time. Awesome. So now the other low register specific exercise that I do is the chromatics down. And this is in addition to, after I do these, then I'll do major scales in all keys. I'll do natural minor scales in all keys and in all registers. I'll start on the pedal C, do it 2 octaves, go to B, 2 octaves. Once I hit G, then I'll do 3 octaves and keep doing those until I get down to a D flat. And then I'll cycle back. Sometimes I can get the C down below pedal. Today, it's not really, doesn't really sound. So the C is generally like a 2 octave, but sometimes it's 3 if I get the lower one. So it all ties in together with low register playing. Yeah, and then so arpeggios down is the last one that we'll do. And then around, so that A, I really have to drop my jaw, corners down, and that's got to lock in for sure. Whereas the B flat can still be done. By the A, I have to really shift. So that's where my break is, just as I'm pointing it out. And the other thing you'll notice is I don't do this one as a true Caruso. I do breathe through my mouth. That's just a me thing. To do it correctly, I should be doing it as a Caruso and breathe through my nose and all this stuff, but I just don't. I don't know why. And then when I say go down to the bottom of the horn, for me, it's the trigger 2-3 D flat just above the fundamental C, not pedal C. The D flat above pedal C is the is the one above fundamental C, which is a whole different ball game. And I don't expect that someone who's learning low register will be able to have that sort of range right off the cut. But don't let that discourage you. Go down as low as you can. Try and push yourself down a little bit lower every day. Eventually, your range will start to get there. Whenever I started doing the Carusos, I think an F, an E, maybe an E flat were like the bottom of my range. Now, I mean, I can start on a D flat sort of reliably, and I can hit the low Cs in the mornings a lot better than I can right now. But it's building up your range. It's building up your embouchure needs to learn what to do and then reinforce the proper technique. So, do the Carusos. Maybe look at look at some low horn excerpts. Shostakovich 5 is a great one to get started. It's pretty low, and it navigates the mid low very very well, and it's forte, so you got to have enough air to be able to do it. So a lot of good stuff there. Arpeggios are really great. For me, when I'm working out my mid-low, for example, there's a good exercise called donkeys. We did them earlier today. But you start on open on the B flat horn, on an F on the staff. You do 8, 4, 3, 2, or 8, 4, 2, 1, and it's supposed to be done in one breath. Very difficult. But then you do those. Then you do trigger 2, and then you do trigger 1, and then you do 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and then you do open, which is C, G, C. And so from there, you can take it down and keep doing those low as well. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. All kinds of stuff you can do to build up low register. Main reason I think I'm not good at low is because I started out doubling with trumpet. For jazz band, I've been mainly focusing on getting on double C on trumpet, which is the F on horn. Yeah, so yeah, and I played trumpet a little bit when I was in high school for marching band, because we needed trumpets way more than we needed mellophones, which is just a shit instrument. But and I had some problems with that because the embouchures, the mouthpiece placement is different, right? Trumpet is 50-50 top and bottom lip, right? Horn is 2/3 top and 1/3 on your bottom. So you really want to make sure you kind of show it maybe a little bit better with this here, but you want to make sure that you do have a different embouchure for horn and for trumpet. So for horn, this is about where I put my. This is, it's more top in there than bottom, right? And so that's going to be your first thing, is make sure that you have the proper mouthpiece setup, which is not the same for trumpet, which for me, it did a lot of harm, because especially as I was going low, I felt like I was bringing my mouthpiece down to be in line with where a trumpet would be. And so it screwed up my thinking about it. But in any event, yeah, it's definitely going to take a lot of work. And especially if you're focusing really, really intently on high trumpet playing, that's going to be, kind of exact opposite what you would want to do for low and on horn. So, do I still have my trumpet? Excuse me, I don't, unfortunately. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know where that thing went. I think one of my siblings has it, actually. And we don't really talk, so I don't think I'm going to get it back. My youngest sibling has a euphonium that he's trying to get back into when he has time. He's an air traffic controller, in fact. But I got better at playing high notes by making sure I don't close my lips too much. That's very interesting, Whippy Guy. For me, and it's good to see you also, my friend. Don't think we're not overlooking. For me, I have to intently close my aperture, but then force it down. So like, I'll be, normally it's kind of coming straight out. But if I'm going high, I have to, it feels like I'm, ooh, and like aiming the air straight down. But yeah, I found that tightening, not like closing off, but for me, like just sort of tightening and then aiming down has really helped me with higher notes. In terms of like embouchure, obviously you still need to have really good fast moving air for high, slow moving, big fat warm air for down low. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Yeah, there's a lot to it. But really, the best advice I could give if you want to really try and get a good low register, Julie Landsman on YouTube, do the Caruso exercises every single day, and then when you have the chance, play low. If you're in your practice and you want to just noodle around and do whatever, just like play some low stuff. If you're working on Mozart's, one thing that I will do when I'm a little tired in the middle of practice is I'll take a Mozart and I'll play it down an octave, right? We'll be doing Mozart 2 for low horn, right? Something like that. So it's getting more exposure, more time in the low register, and that's really gonna help you out there. For the next concert, we're playing Star Splitter Fanfare and Tick 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 Yeah. I don't think I know either of those. You played it at a feeder concert, Praga. That's really, which one? Star Splitter or Tick 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 Tick? That's really interesting. Are those like popular songs and I'm just old and out of touch? Because that honestly sounds about right. That's really cool. We're doing a Harry Potter one, which however you feel about it. But it starts with the Hedwig's theme done on bells and percussion and stuff, and then horn comes in and takes over with muted trumpet as well for the ba ba da 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 da, and it's really fun. Star Splitter was made by Brian Balmage. I'm gonna say that wrong. Balmagus. Star Splitter Fanfare. It sure is. Well, that's cool. I'm definitely gonna have to listen to that. In addition to the, I still gotta listen to. Who was it? Shit. I think it was Tchaikovsky by the Czech Philharmonic. I remember I was told to watch it yesterday, and I did not. But that's okay, because I actually have to go. I need to get lunch, you guys. So I'm going to call time on practice, as a matter of fact. It's been a pretty good day. And I gotta get lunch. I'm gonna go out to the garden. I'm gonna put on my good headphones, and we're gonna listen to some good music today. I'm feeling good, you guys and gals and non-binary pals. So, thank you guys. Thank you all so much for coming to practice and hanging out with me. Hope that y'all have a great rest of your Friday. Start to your weekends, and we will see you for next time. See y'all later. Bye.